Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Thank you to my ESCP family for inviting me to this special day. My name is Jo Bautista. I'm an artist and a social entrepreneur. So I came to ESCP in 2019, straight from the Philippines, with a desire to pursue a career in sustainability. Just months after starting my journey of living abroad, the coronavirus pandemic hit. I used my art not only to cope with my own feelings of anxiety and helplessness, but as a foundation for the start of my social enterprise. Long story short, is that I used my paintings as postcard designs, then built a website where people could send a physical postcard through a digital device. Through the money raised from the sales of the postcards, I began to fund feeding programs back home. That's where my social enterprise, Send to Give, got its name. You would send a postcard to give hope. So that was in 2020. Today, Send to Give is a nonprofit association based in Berlin, co-founded together with my classmates from ESCP, and with support from our ESCP teachers and youth. Send to Give fosters the value of community by creatively engaging people in the process of helping others. We do events, fundraisers, and storytelling in the belief that by involving people in social impact projects, we can help those in need gain access to essential resources while fostering proactive change makers. Through Send to Give, we've helped over 300 families gain access to essential resources like solar light, housing subsidy, and renewable energy. So I've told the origin story of Send to Give many times in the past years, but today I want to share with you new stories. Stories not of when we began, but of how and why we continue. Our latest project was completed in January of this year. We brought solar energy to a community of 225 people who were living in this remote area of the Philippines. They were living without access to electricity before. So let me repeat that last line. They were living without access to electricity before. So I will venture to guess that most of the people in this room will have a hard time even imagining what that reality looks like. So let me show you. In the remote places where we work, there are no paved roads, no concrete houses, no modern cooking equipments, no furniture except for what you make with your hands. And when the sun goes down at 7 p.m. every night, it goes pitch black. It's a very simple and very difficult way of life. But look at how these people smile. I've been asked many times before, how is it that people living in difficult situations can still smile, laugh, and find joy? My answer is a Filipino word called bayanihan. Bayanihan means the spirit of community. It's a very important value in Philippine culture, and it's something which I think a European way of thinking could benefit from. I find that the word community can be so loosely used these days. Some might call a LinkedIn audience a community, or a newsletter subscriber base a community. But what really is a community? Let me tell you by sharing stories from our latest project to bring energy access to this small town. So we started this project in July last year, where we made it a point to visit the community we wanted to help in order to present our plans, get their input, and receive their permission. So we made this long journey to this remote island where we were received by the elders. After presenting our plans to donate and build a solar energy system for them, I waited in excited anticipation for their positive feedback. To my surprise, the leader and eldest man of the community met me with skepticism and doubt. It turns out that in his entire life of almost 80 years, his people had been promised electricity access many times before, but never got it. Nonetheless, we got the permission we needed, and we left. For the next 6 months here in Germany, our team at Send2Give raised awareness and funding from private individuals and corporate donors. There were many challenges, but we made it. And in January of this year, we returned to the town. I remember seeing this old man again, our eyes meeting for the first time, and his entire face just lighting up. With a bright, gummy smile, he said to me, "You came back." It was here that I learned that community is about making promises to each other and keeping them. It's about integrity and commitment to show up and follow through. So we had our solar energy system, and our plan was to install it on the roof of the community house. Here's what the community house looked like in July. It was hand-built with nipa and bamboo, and shortly before our project started, we asked the people to check if the roof would be able to carry the weight of the solar grid. As it turned out, when they squeezed the wood, they found it had been eaten by termites. And the day before our project was about to start, I got a call from our program manager, and he said, "Joe, I don't want you to panic, but do you remember the community house?" I was like, "Yes, I remember it. Why?" And he said, "They tore it completely down." And I was like, "What? Our project is taking place tomorrow. We don't have the resources to simply move our plans." But we decided to continue and see what would happen. And what happened was, the people in the community, but also people from neighboring towns, dropped whatever they were doing and started building this community house together, non-stop, for 3 days. Watching this was like a real-life time-lapse of people coming together to manifest this physical structure. It was absolutely inspiring, especially in the nighttime. Because there was no light, people held cell phones for one another to hammer the nail or fix the screw. No matter how tiring it got, everyone had a smile on their face because they knew that we were getting closer to making this town's dream come true. And in 3 days, we made a miracle happen, which was to build a house when there was no house, and to provide electricity when there was no electricity before. And so community means working together to overcome challenges. It means holding a light for each other in the dark. On our last evening, we organized a little lighting ceremony for the first time that we would turn on the lights for this town. We had everyone sit in front of the house with us and asked for all cell phones and torches to be turned out. So in case you're wondering, this is a photo. It was dark. Everyone huddled together in this dark space. And I said what was in everyone's hearts, which was, our dream is about to come true. We all counted down together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then there was light. So just like here, everyone cheered and clapped. The energy was ecstatic. And then it was my partner's turn to speak. My partner, who is here today, Kai Steinkammer, is a co-founder of Send2Give. He started to address the community by saying, "I'm so happy we got to do this. This has been such an important project for us. But wait a minute, my bag is so heavy. And people were confused. They went from this ecstatic, excited energy to looking at him as if to say, why is this guy talking about his bag right now? And the thing is, in that bag, we had a surprise prepared. Kai had organized a German company to donate 5 laptops to our cause, because before that, the entire town of 225 people only had one really old laptop to share. Putting aside the organizational challenges that Kai overcame to secure that donation, there was a physical challenge that we didn't anticipate. And it was that Kai had to hand carry 20 kilograms worth of laptops from Munich to Berlin to Doha to Manila to Busuanga and into this little house. In many moments throughout that long journey, Kai felt the literal burden of his good deed. At this point, questions may start to arise in the mind of a person just trying to do some good. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting myself through this hassle of a situation? And the answer to that came in the reaction of the people when Kai revealed what was inside his bag. The moment he pulled out the laptops, the school-level children and their mothers all burst into tears. They thanked us and hugged us so deeply, saying, "We will never be able to repay you." But that's not true, because helping other people enriches our lives and our hearts in ways that thinking only of ourselves never can. So why am I telling you these stories? I'm telling them to you because it's graduation day. It's the start of a journey that continues into the real world. And let's be honest, the real world can look pretty scary now, can't it? But this is a reminder that now is not the time for fear, now is the time for courage. Now is the time to hold to the values we believe in and to stand for them, in our words, in our actions, and in our work. Bayanihan is a value that we need to live actively. We need to keep our promises, to work together to overcome challenges, and to constantly give each other reasons to hope. And we need stories for that. Not bedtime stories that are based in fantasy, which are meant to put us to sleep, but real stories like these that are based in reality and are meant to wake you up, to make you realize that humanity is one big community, and the power to light up the world is in your hands. Thank you.
Can I ask you to come back to the stage, please? So, we have prepared a little thank you, and I'm only giving this little bear for you, of course. As you are living in Berlin, you know what the bear stands for. Everyone you see in the first row, but as also everyone behind the scenes, signed it for you as a thank you to remember this day, and we thank you. Again, thank you, Joe.